What's going on, everybody? This should be a pretty quick video before we get into the very important information, which is how I expect my previous versions of walking simulators to fare in 3.16. We do have the 2020 gem information for Tornado. I just wanted to go over that very quickly. The base damage does scale with levels. That was expected. It does scale a little bit higher than I thought it was going to, but still, I believe not high enough to make Tornado a main damaging skill. The damage pulse of every 4 times a second, that didn't change. Again, that was expected. The base duration, they do appear to have dropped from 2 to 1.5. That does throw the math off just a little bit. Disappointingly, but also expectedly, the number of projectiles you can put in and the amount of damage that is reflected does appear to be stationary and does not scale with levels. We did pick up a little bit of hinder, and the movement speed with levels appears to be quite a bit. So it looks like we might feel a lot nicer to use if we really can pump up the speed. As much as it looks like we are going to be able to. With the new base duration, I think the new target, if you're going to put this in an 8-second trigger weapon, is a 45% increased skill effect duration. That puts the total duration to just barely under 8 seconds and gives you a little bit more than 2 seconds of input and a little bit less than 6 seconds of output. So that is the new target to hit for that. Now, getting into my walking simulator builds, the original prototype, version 1 and version 2, remain dead in the water until the mana cost for triggers is changed or some other mechanic is found that allows those to function anywhere near where they functioned before. So those are still gone. Version 3, which was the Fire Burst or the Chaos Burst Auto Bomber, actually may make a comeback this league, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And then my last version, version 4, which was the Soul Rest build, got a pretty massive hit with the elemental equilibrium changes. Before they updated the tree with a little bit of extra minion damage, I was having trouble getting that even close to 60% of the damage that it had last league. And that's a problem because that build sacrificed a lot from a pure Soul Rest build to make it into a more condensed, easier playable walking version. As of right now, I can't in good conscience recommend the Soul Rest build, especially for a starter this league, maybe as a secondary, second or third character. But if you like the Soul Rest playstyle, I would recommend going to one of the bigger minion-centered personalities and content creators in the community and see if they have anything with a pure Soul Rest, and I would just defer to them. I'm not going to be putting out any kind of an update to that, at least for a little while into the league. Now, getting into Fireburst. So we do have some changes in the patch notes for Fireburst. The base damage actually took a pretty big hit. You can see we went to about 1400 average down to about 900 average, but with the way that Ignite has changed, the base Ignite damage of the skill is actually 67.5% higher. The build from 314 to 315 took a nerf of about 40 to 45%. So this now buff of 65.5% to the base damage doesn't quite get it back up there. That's still probably going to be 10 or 15% lower DPS than it was in 314. But we also have some better damage over time multipliers. We have better mods we can get on items and some new items to work with. So I actually think it'll take a little bit more investment, but I think you can get Fireburst close to or maybe over where it was in 314, but it is going to take a lot more investment to get there. The biggest thing is for running my specific Chaos Bomber build is the Black Flame Ring. This is the ring that has enemies ignited by you take chaos damage instead of fire damage from Ignite. I anticipate this ring is going to be very expensive this league. And the reason why is with Black Flame, you still scale your ignites as if you're doing fire damage, but you debuff the enemy as if you're doing chaos damage. What this meant is if you were using Black Flame, you didn't care about Elemental Equilibrium at all, because Elemental Equilibrium does not affect the enemy's chaos resistance in any way. So, by going to the chaos, damage taken as chaos, that gives you access to Wither, which is one of the most powerful debuffs in the game, as well as the Despair Curse, which not only lowers the chaos resistance, but also increases damage over time taken. So in my opinion, Black Flame was a pretty even trade-off between losing the old Elemental Equilibrium and things like Exposure, but getting to use Withered and the full effect of the Despair Curse. So why is that a big deal this league? It's a big deal this league because Elemental Equilibrium has basically been nuked from Ignite builds, and as compensation for that, GGG has buffed the base damage of Ignite to help keep it in line now that they are losing Elemental Equilibrium. Well, Black Flame Ignite never cared about Elemental Equilibrium anyway, so you're getting all of the buff without any of the downside. So I anticipate a lot of Black Flame Ignite builds this league. I think it's going to be a very desirable item, and I think it is going to be expensive. So just keep that in mind if you're wanting to build anything around that. It's known it's going to be much more powerful and in a better state than it has been in a long time. I think that's all I have to go over. I will be streaming the league start. Please, come on by, hang out, and we'll see if I can't come up with a decent league starter this year. I still haven't fully decided what I want to do. I just know I'm not going with Tornado yet. But for now, I am Troll Ergo Sum. That is all for today, and I will see you guys on the Twilight Strand tomorrow.